So, welcome to Ravenholm, and oh, I love the mountain air up here at night. It's cut it out, will you? I'm filming here. So, fellas, I'm in Ravenholm. There. Better now. Now, purely gameplay-wise, this level, we don't go to Ravenholm as much as this town, is ingenious. A perfect training sandbox that offers a welcome break from gunning down Metrocubs just one chapter ago. You know, you get to chop up some zombies and you can't go wrong with that. It's so memorable every way you look at it. They just don't make them like that anymore. But here's the main thing. Gameplay aside, Ravenholm doesn't really seem to make a whole lot of sense. Like, at all, you know? And the first thing that derails this whole premise is Ravenholm's location. You see, Ravenholm is a miserable little backwater mining town refashioned into a major resistance outpost that tops what could easily be the highest vantage point in its immediate vicinity. And there it is, as seen from the top of the dam in, Chapter Water Hazards finale. To be completely honest, it took me years to even notice kind of a tiny little thing over there, right? Bordering on two other prominent resistance outposts, Black Mesa East, built deeper into the same mountain, and Short Point Base out on the coast, just across the same ridge a short ways, Ravenholm likely used to link both together into one sprawling network. Now, by its very nature, a resistance outpost, let alone one the size of Ravenholm, is supposed to be all hush-hush. You know, tucked out of sight, out of mind, where no one would even think to look for it. And now tell me with a straight face, how is a town perched on top of a pretty large hill out in plain sight? How is that a secret? Talk about staying under the radar. Ravenholm being turned into a major resistance outpost defeats the whole premise of stealth and secrecy, which has been likely the founding stone of the entire resistance. I mean, yeah, I get it. There is a very strong argument to be made that, other resistance outposts exist, like Little Odessa or Lighthouse Point, which aren't exactly inconspicuous, but they are rather small footholds, a handful of decrepit buildings manned by 2.5 fellas. Not a full-blown town like Ravenholm. Easy to pack up and pull out if shit gets real. There could only ever have been two reasons that Ravenholm was populated by the Resistance in the first place. Such as Mr. Mindfuck. 1. Consider Ravenholm was merely a refugee camp, which, it most likely was, housing citizens escaping City 17, while they laid low and figured out where to go next. It's large enough to accommodate lots of folks without getting overcrowded, which is a lot more than can be said about Black Mesa East right down below. And now get this, save for like a few residential buildings here and there, Ravenholm seems to be, by and large, a large industrial park. It's all mines, graveyards, plants, steelworks, everywhere you look. Still, beggars can't be choosers, and squatting in an old plant likely beats being bossed around by the Combine in City 17, right? That's a fair point. But for just a split second, think of all the people thugging it out in one single place. It would take a shitload of food and clean drinking water to sustain a healthy population the size of a small town. Make no mistake, Ravenholm was a mining village, not a peaceful farming community. It sits on top of a large rocky hill, hardly suitable for any kind of, self-sustained farming. Like a small garden in your backyard, maybe, but that's about as far as farming could ever possibly go in Ravenholm. In the pre-Combine years, it likely depended on, your regular supply lines, which had likely collapsed the day the Combine assumed control of the planet. To put it in perspective, in the post-apocalyptic world of Half-Life, it's just not practical to permanently settle a place like Ravenholm for the sake of using it as simply that, a barracks, with no other return on investment. The vast coast nearby with all the natural bounty like leeches and seagulls and antlions seems like a much smarter choice for permanent villages to be established. So unless Ravenholm had offered something in return, like its mines and all their resources, to fuel Black Mesa East down below with all the energy it could possibly ever need, which kind of makes sense if you think about it, but man, can you imagine all the hustle and bustle that would happen in a mining town? We're talking smokestacks throwing up clouds of fumes, loads of coal leaving town, people hustling and bustling. Anyone flying by would spot it right away. You might as well put up a sign saying, "Come check this shit out." And even assuming the resources were well worth the risks of Ravenholm being discovered and possibly bombed to hell, it's extremely dumb to compromise the safety of Black Mesa East and all the sensitive classified research on teleportation, which the Combine couldn't wait to get their hands on. This alone should have made Ravenholm a very unlikely candidate for permanent large-scale settlement. To think that Black Mesa East even somehow managed to, stay under the radar and survive while Ravenholm up top was bombed to hell is a miracle in and of itself. Then again, Breen said it himself, the Combine had been well aware of Black Mesa East for years, which kinda leads me to believe it was Ravenholm in the first place that may have drawn unwanted attention to this area, which in turn may have forced Judith to think one step ahead and cut a deal with Breen just to spare Black Mesa East and allow Eli to carry on. Whoa. So either way you slice this pie, really, it never made any sense whatsoever to risk it all by populating Ravenholm. And now that Ravenholm has been trashed and all its residents turned into mindless zombies tearing up the dead of night with their agonized wails, it's become a ghost town next door to an otherwise cozy little setup with boards chopping up headcrabs into stews and people playing chess like it's just another Tuesday. Never mind all the hell on the loose upstairs with a crazy padre roasting zombies over bonfires and building gas chambers. But wait, are those human cries you can hear around certain parts of town? Even Father Grigori calls us another life to save, as if we weren't the first human he had seen lately.
But who is this? Another life to save? I'll keep my eye on you. More than that, I cannot promise.
Yet it makes no sense to think somebody has been wandering into town by sheer accident, much less willingly. Why not, you might ask? You see, Ravenholm is up in the hills, like I said. Hell, there's a reason even free man had to go through the mines to get out of town. It's likely that the town has been completely fenced off or sealed off, all roads barricaded or destroyed to keep out unwanted traffic. Like a wise man once said, one does not simply go to Ravenholm. So really, unless those cries and moans come from some kind of former residents still stranded or trapped in town, I suppose small localized pockets of survivors could have held out for a while, even as free man passed through, unwilling to leave their homes or hoping to clean up the mess and possibly bring Ravenholm back to life one day. But if that's the case, they shouldn't know this town inside and out, and by now, they would have found refuge at the church, or, made a run for Black Mesa East nearby, take your pick. How come all we hear are sobs and screams? No gunshots, no signs of fighting or even human speech. Some of them sound awfully similar to a child in distress. Because in all seriousness, are you gonna tell me that someone has been trapped in some lousy room in a place like Ravenholm, just sobbing and screaming and moaning, of all things, for months or weeks on end, instead of trying to call for help? Really, come off of it. Like, Grigori is clearly all over Ravenholm. He could give Spider-Man a run for his money the way he navigates the rooftops and shows up out of nowhere. If there were survivors like Grigori's line suggests, as well as the sounds heard around town, there would be visible evidence of that, and the only ones we find are swinging from ropes around their necks in faces like charred briquettes. How did they even strengthen themselves up in the first place if they had already been roasted to hell?
And these fellas, they show up everywhere too throughout Ravenholm, often next to a medkit or even several, take your pick.
Because get this, medkits are the one thing that's not scarce in Ravenholm. There's exactly 64 to be had throughout the entire chapter. It might as well have been a hospital town, yet every human body you come across that hasn't been zombified is dead, curled up right next to, wait for it, yes, a medkit. And then there is the zombie population paradox. Ravenholm's only human resident has been working his ass off 24/7, whacking zombies by any means necessary, including automated traps every step of the way. Yet for all that, every street and back alley is still crawling with critters.
Pardon my French, but how many motherfuckers even lived up in this bitch in its heyday?
The church, apparently Father Grigori's main hangout and base of operations, is sealed off with what appears to be a plain chain-link fence, with no barbed wire or live electric field anywhere visible. That being said, how come his humble abode hasn't been overrun yet? As zombies in particular are known to be quite good at climbing vertical things and leaping across huge gaps.
Oh no, there it is. Oh, did you see that?
I am amazing. A chain link fence would be child's play for them. No, he can't be physically there 24/7 to ward off the odd intruder, much less a mob of skinned monkeys.
I get it. We're supposed to just presume and take it for what it is that this is hallowed ground, somehow majestically and miraculously unfit for the undead to tread upon. There it is.
Then how come the cemetery right next over is crawling with zombies? Hallowed ground my ass. And then there's this thing that nobody at Black Mesa East, or anywhere for that matter, ever mentions Grigori. Why? Even Odessa Cabbage gets more light of the day, and the guy only shows up briefly to give you a rocket launcher, never to be seen again. Father Grigori, though, he's got his own separate chapter as well as a dramatic ending. Does everyone presume he's been diseased since the shelling of Ravenholm? Doubtfully. There's a very good chance that the resistance didn't pull out of Ravenholm immediately following its fall. Some stragglers must have hung around long enough to help others clear out of town. Word would have traveled of Father Grigori being alive, since he must have been a prominent member of the local community. Yet all the silence and not a single mention of him suggests he might as well be a ghost.
Now, fellas, obviously there's a lot more, renting to be vented, for lack of a better term, but I fear I deliver you all to a dark place with all of this, rant. Whatever it is. Make no mistake, I love Half-Life 2. Always have, always will, ever since 2004. That was the year I first, or 2005, was it? That doesn't matter. As soon as the game came out, I was there to actually, not play it, but I saw my cousin play it, and I've been stuck with this thing ever since then. But still, that doesn't take away, none of that takes away from all the inconsistencies, and I don't know, sometimes I really feel like Valve, they first came up with the gravity gun, and then they were like, okay, well, now we need to build a chapter that's going to be like training ground or like a boot camp for, just to school you on the use of the gravity gun. And then they built this entire chapter just around the concept of the gravity gun. That's like, sometimes just doesn't fit in. Not that Ravenholm couldn't exist in the universe of Half-Life 2, but it just feels a little forced, like just comes out of nowhere. Like, it pops in and out, and outside of that, there's no other mention of it. Never. It's just a little awkward. And all the inconsistencies too. But anyway, yeah, I hope you guys all have a great day, and I'll be seeing you next time. Hopefully, take excellent care of yourself. Ciao.